All right, what's up, Executive Network? Let's get ready to go on the clock in an Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania live draft show. The Executive Network is now brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Hit the link in the comment section for a 100% deposit match courtesy of the Executive Network and Underdog Fantasy. Win with the Executive Network and Underdog Fantasy this NFL season. Yes, let's get ready to hop in the lobby right here. Click on the Best Ball Mania. This is a best ball tournament over at Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to $3 million in this one right here. Tournament style fantasy football, Underdog Fantasy. Like I told you, check the link in that comment section. And first time depositors, hit that link and you can get up to a $100. You can get a bonus match up to $100, 100% up to $100, meaning you put in 100. Underdog Fantasy puts in 100 courtesy of the Executive Network. So click that link if you are a first-time user to Underdog Fantasy. All right, let's get ready to hop on the clock right here and listen. Basically, what I'm just trying to do is put a quick little team together, show you what the format is like, how it goes. I know a lot of people enjoy best ball fantasy football, and I do as well. So you take a little time. For the most part, these drafts fill up pretty quickly. I'll get the live draft board up here once the draft gets filled, and we'll get in here and start going through some picks and discussing what is going on. I know you like people got fantasy football drafts this weekend, so try to get a lot of advice out there the best way that we can so we can keep you rocking and get you ready for a successful fantasy football season coming up this year. Plenty of content right now on the YouTube channel, no matter what's going on in sports. You know, we cover it here on the Executive Network, so get down with the get down. Check out that college football content as well. And coming up this week, we are going to be going live on Thursday night as we get ready for the upcoming NFL season. So I want everybody to check in on that one right there. All right, looks like the draft is getting ready to start. I do not see my name anywhere. I'll go ahead and pull up the live draft board. Get you to that tab right there. All right, get you to that tab right there on the live draft board. And we can go through here and get ready and see how this live draft from Underdog Fantasy is going to turn out. I believe I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have the 11th pick in this draft. So I'm coming back here on the turn. Now, listen, in a draft like this, basically what you're doing is, you know, it's a long shot style draft. You know what I'm saying? $25, maybe you can hit a home run, hit a jackpot, and take a couple of dollars out of this one. It just doesn't pay that $3 million top prize. You know, it prizes all the way down as well. So lottery ticket, basically what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get a stack. Coming from where I'm coming from out that 11 hole, one of my favorite stacks back there is that A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts stack. So we'll see if we can get that done. That'll be a good way to start. So getting ready to go on the clock. Let's go get ready to hop in here and go pick by pick. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, you know, is nothing near. You can play in as many as these best ball drafts if you like to. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, you hit that link, and then I think they'll be running this all the way up until the season starts, so you get a chance to take a shot and get in a draft like this right here. We got Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase going off the board. Now, the format for these leagues, for this best ball tournament, is half-point PPR, 4 points for the quarterback touchdown pass. And then after that, you know what I mean, there's no waiver wire, nothing like that. The rules set up to where you you get the optimal roster every week, and we're trying to see who can score the most points. So far, so good. Jefferson, Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill. Like I tell you, in a tournament like this, you're going to see a lot of teams try to get the big teams with the big stacks. Chase, Burrow, Kelsey, Mahomes. As a matter of fact, Kelsey just been off the board right there. So that's kind of how you like to try to play this style of fantasy football right here. You want to be able to go and get those players who can give you connects in the big hookups. Now, a lot of people like to get into like a week 17 type theory. That's the week the tournament ends and look at the schedule and try to predict what's going to happen. I don't get that deep into it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to put together the best tournament team I can without worrying about week 17, because who knows what the league will look like in week 17. So after Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler, and Cooper Kupp goes off the board, and then we see Cooper Kupp, listen, going off the board 7 despite that injury. What you'll see in a draft like this, a player like Cooper Kupp will probably go a little bit earlier despite the injury because he's such an outlier. He can finish a fantasy player 1. So taking a shot on him, you know, and not letting him slide down the board is something that you would see, unlike what you're probably going to see in your home drafts this week. So I'm coming up here with the 11th pick in the draft. And like I said, I was looking at A.J. Brown. I'm probably definitely going to go wide receiver here. So I'm going to go A.J. Brown if he's there. If not, it would be really a decision between St. Brown and Garrett Wilson. And I'm interested to see who goes off the board next. Nick Chubb goes. So I'm going to go ahead and take A.J. Brown, the Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver. Listen, I've talked ad nauseum about what kind of a stud that A.J. Brown is. Dude averaged like 17 yards a catch last year. Caught a whole bunch of touchdowns. He's the main target in the offense. You got Devontae Smith, obviously, and you know what kind of weapon Jalen Hurts is. So more than likely, I'm not going to take Hurts on this turn right here. I'm going to pray that I'm able to get him and come back on the 2-3 turn. So you see those two wide receivers go off the board. I'm going to actually go with CeeDee Lamb. Let me see the running backs right here. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. It's not going to be Tony Pollard. I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb right here and get that tough wide receiver start. I think I'll be able to find some running backs more down the board. Like, I'm not setting up to go for a, zero RB situation. That's not what I want to do. But now you got to be fluid and stay on your feet in the draft, though, because you know what? I could end up doing it. We'll see how it comes back around. Haven't seen no quarterbacks go off the board yet. But obviously, as soon as I say that, one will go off the board. See if somebody can build that stack. So after I take CeeDee Lamb, we see Pollard, Barkley, Devontae Adams, the King, Derrick Henry, and Jalen Waddle go off the board with those picks after that. I want to thank everybody that's subscribed already to the Fantasy Executive Network. Definitely appreciate you subscribing to the relaunch, checking out all the shows, getting involved in everything. There's also a link down there for the free executive newsletter. What we're going to do with that is you'll get a Sunday morning rundown, basically getting you prepared to make your wagers, set your lineups, and do all the stuff that you need to do for fantasy. All right, after Patrick Mahomes goes, Jalen Hurts goes. So I will not have the Hurts stack with A.J. Brown. Boo. Now, should I have taken him on that turn right there? Probably so, but it's not mandatory that you have the stack. You know what I'm saying? So I still wanted to get some value out of it, but we'll see how the rest of the draft shakes out. Now, I got Lamb on the team. Am I going to put Dak Prescott on here? Probably not. You know I don't like that interception throwing quarterback, but you never know what could happen, so we'll see how it goes. But the stack is not going to happen. I probably was taking the gamble anyway, thinking that that Jalen Hurts was going to get all the way back to me at that point. After Hurts goes off the board, we see New Orleans Saints wide receiver Chris Olave, followed by Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs starting to climb back up fantasy boards now that he is settled in with a team. So it's good to see Josh Jacobs in camp, and now his fantasy value is kind of placed back to where it was supposed to be. Devontae Smith, the Eagles' other wide receiver, goes off the board on that latest turn right there. So we're seeing how people put their teams together. Calvin Ridley is a guy who's been very hyped up. Now we're starting to see him go in that late second, early third round. Not just in best ball style drafts, but in drafts, in like home league style drafts too. Like the hype for Calvin Ridley is real this year. I don't have no Calvin Ridley squads yet. I don't have him on no team. It's like the ADP has been a little bit too high, but I would like to get some Calvin Ridley. So I'm not against him, just looking for the proper opportunity. I'll probably end up doing an auction draft at some point this week. And that'll be will be the chance when I maybe try to scoop up me a share of Calvin Ridley heading into the season. Last couple of picks coming up on my pick, DK Metcalf, Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs, another player that I don't have in fantasy yet this year that I wouldn't mind getting a hold of. Also, Ramondre Stevenson, too, I think is a very intriguing player. You know, New England's going to run the football. Now, the goal line work is going to be problematic, especially with Ezekiel Elliott there, but he's a good catcher of the football, a dynamic player, so I wouldn't have no problem going with him. So right now, let me see what's going on the running back side of it as I look to try to get my first back. Travis Etienne sits at the top of the board. I'm probably not going to take him. Then you got like that running back quagmire where you have guys like Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris. When I look back over here at the wide receivers, nothing I really like. So I'm going to go back to the running backs, and I'm going to go with Etienne, a player that I have not taken yet this draft season. So Travis Etienne, not where I wanted to go. So I'm going to have to stack some running backs a little bit. Etienne was decent. He's a very good player. The problem is he's not a real good fantasy asset. He's a better player for the regular team than he is for your fantasy team. We saw that last year. Didn't have that big touchdown upside. So there goes that right there. When you look at the tight ends, you already had your man go off the board, my guy Mark Andrews. So I'm not going to go tight end right now. Looking at these wide receivers, don't really see anything I like to pull a wide receiver on my next pick. See if we can go back in that running back room. And you know what? I think you look at running backs and quarterbacks, Joe Mixon there. I think Najee Harris. No, I'm going to slide. I already have a lot of Aaron Jones, though. This is how I am when I'm on the clock. I like to diversify my rosters and not have a whole bunch of people on the same team. But in this style of tournament, I think Jones is probably the best way to go. I think he's the player with the most upside out of this bunch. I think that offense in Green Bay is going to be very good and efficient with Jordan Love running it. So I'm going to go with Aaron Jones. He hasn't let nobody down yet. I get him as my RB1 on a team that already has St. Brown and I'm not St. Brown, excuse me, that already has CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown. So that's the team so far through 4 rounds of this Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania draft. AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne, and Aaron Jones comes in as my running back number 2. So we got the first 4 players out the way, and then you see Najee Harris goes off the board right there. I'm gonna start building the queue out as these Underdog. Let me tell you something. I was in the draft last night where they had a minute and a half between picks. These Underdog fantasy drafts, let me tell you something. You can do these drafts in like 20, 30 minutes, and these drafts be done. And trust me, the fantasy executive likes stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Get a good piece of content out there quickly and don't have to wait and fool around too much. So quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, looking at who is on the board to put in my queue. I'm going to put Justin Fields in the queue. I'm going to put Burrow in the queue. I put Herbert in the queue as well. As far as the wide receivers go, I'm going to put Christian Kirk in the queue. Tyler Lockett, who is fantastic. I'm a big Tyler Lockett guy. I'm going to put George Pickens in my queue as well. I do not have no George Pickens yet, and I'm getting pretty hyped up on him. Feeling pretty good about George Pickens going into the season. And then in that running back room, let me see if there's any running backs I want to throw in that queue right now. I like Ken Walker. J.K. Dobbins is a make-or-break guy. Big boom bust. I'll put James Cook in there as well and Miles Sanders, and we'll see how he comes back. Got about 12 picks until I'll be back on the clock right here in this Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Draft right here on the Executive Network. Don't forget that Executive newsletter. It's a link in the description for that as well. That is a free newsletter that you can sign up for. You get some picks. As a matter of fact, it's already picks in that newsletter for week 1. So you get that out the way. Trust me, I'm going to have a strong week 1. And then you also got some college football picks. You got some MVP nods. So it's going to be a ton of content over there. This video will get posted over there if you want to go back and watch and check this video out and get some strategies for your draft. Or if you decide to jump in Underdog Fantasy Draft using that promo code exec or hitting that link in the description, that'd be greatly appreciated. And we can have some fun charting the teams in this tournament this season. Justin Herbert and Justin Fields goes off the board. Am I want to play quarterback chicken? Do I want to get my quarterback this round? Still got Joe Burrow sitting out there. If Burrow's there when I'm up, I'll take him. Let me throw Trevor Lawrence in the queue as well. Maybe I do a Lawrence and Christian Kirk turn coming up right here. As a matter of fact, if that's available, that may be a route that I go right there. Obviously, everybody on Calvin Ridley, and obviously Ridley is very talented, but there's already been a connection established between Kirk and Trevor Lawrence. So if I don't get sniped, hopefully that is the case right there. Get me a little cheap secondary stack for this best ball format right here. Still got Joe Burrow on the board too. Wouldn't really fit my team, but if you're looking for that stack. But we'll see what happens depending on which quarterbacks go off the board here. Trevor Lawrence is the guy that I have my eye on right now. We got 3 picks away. Joe Burrow just went, so he will not be an option. So basically, it's about 3 picks to me and see if I get a chance to get my quarterback. We see Chris Godwin go after Joe Burrow. Draft just moving along, getting ready to go into round number 6. I believe these are 18-round drafts. Obviously, you want to have a deeper roster in the best ball format, but these drafts do go pretty quick. It doesn't take too much time out your day to hop in one of these drafts right here. They got it at this $25 level that I'm playing at in this Best Ball Mania tournament, but you can also hop in, at up to as cheap as $3. I've seen some of these leagues right here. So Terry McLaurin goes after Chris Godwin. Let's see if I get sniped on Trevor Lawrence right here. Jerry Jeudy goes off the board. So now I get a chance to grab my quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, and hopefully we come back and we get Christian Kirk. Now, I took Lawrence before Kirk because if I can't get Kirk, I'm fine with Lockett or Pickens being the wide receiver I take at this point right here. I would like both. I would like one of those running backs too, but if they come back around, that'd be the pick. But the ADP on James Cook is going crazy right now. And Dobbins can be a kind of player that can help you win a league like this if he can stay healthy and be the kind of player we think he's going to be. As a matter of fact, 2 running backs go before I get my pick. Dobbins and Madison go off the board. So my stack is where's my guy at? Where's my guy Christian Kirk at? All right, where's my Christian Kirk? All right, there you go, Christian Kirk. Go down here, make the draft pick. Christian Kirk on the team now. So let's hop in here and give a quick look at the team. Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback. I got 3 Jacksonville Jaguars, so I do have a Jacksonville stack with Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and Aaron Jones, the running back. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Christian Kirk. I really like this team a lot so far, the way this team's come out. If that Jacksonville offense is humming, you know what I'm saying? I think I feel pretty good about the way this team is looking right now. So let's get back to the queue. Throw a couple more names in the queue. Dotson, put him in the queue. Smith and Jigba, put him in the queue. Addison, put him in the queue. See Gabe Davis sitting right there. He's not going in the queue. You fooled me once. I'm not putting no Marquise Brown. I'll put Zay Flowers in the queue. I'll put Pittman in the queue as well. And Brandon Cooks and Quentin Johnson will both go in the queue. Now, not time to get another quarterback yet, but I'll start looking for another quarterback a little bit later on. I'll throw Miles Sanders in the queue as well as Javonte Williams, even though I'm not that big on Javonte Williams and his situation coming into this year. Like, I don't know about that Broncos offense, but a lot of people are optimistic about Sean Payton. He is a great coach, but I am yet to be determined. But if he's there, I don't mind Williams. Just not a guy that I'm targeting. Tight ends, I got so much George Kittle. I'm not taking no more George Kittle, and I'm definitely not taking Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram. I don't want the whole damn Jacksonville Jaguar team. Laporta is a guy that I'll throw in there in the mix, and then probably later I'll throw Schultz in there. Now, I played tight end chicken too long. I hate to get down to these poverty tight ends, but there is a guy down here I like a lot in Hunter Hurst. So maybe he'll be the guy. And you know what? I'll throw Kyle Pitts in the queue as well because it is a best ball league, and if he does hit, it could be a good value to get Kyle Pitts, who is not hit yet in his career. And I know I've said, listen, if it happens, it's going to happen on somebody else's team. If it happens for Pitts this year, but I'm in the best ball draft, so why the hell not? You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, you can hop in a draft like this. Click the link in the comments, Underdog Fantasy, and come out here and have a good time and draft some teams with the fantasy executive and the rest of the executive network community. All right, I'm coming up 5 picks away from my pick. Some names that went off the board: Jordan Addison, Daniel Jones, Miles Sanders is not going to be there. Yeah, these guys cleared out all my running backs. So James Conner, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco is a player that I may take on this turn right here. And I like Antonio Gibson as well. Let me throw him in my queue along with Zach Charbonnet and Jalen Warren and Sam Perine and Tank Bigsby, another Jacksonville Jaguar. So maybe he does not make the team, or maybe he does as a little bit. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I'm going all in on the Jacksonville offense anyway. Might as well keep it humming. Kittle goes off the board. Mike Evans goes off the board. David Montgomery goes off the board. I think Montgomery could be in a good situation in that offense in Detroit, especially if he has that Jamal Williams role. That was a very good role for fantasy last year. Now you see Jamal Williams out there with the New Orleans Saints. Let me take a look at these wide receivers. Quentin Johnson, Sky Moore, Michael Thomas. I would take Quentin Johnson on this term, but I'm not really excited about anybody else out of that grouping right there. Maybe Elijah Moore, but I think Amari Cooper would be the guy to own out there. I think once you start to get to the Elijah Moores, it's like you're really playing a game of chicken drafting those guys. All right, I'm on the clock for my 30 seconds. Quentin Johnson is there. I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs running back. I'm going to make him the draft pick here And then I might, do I want to go double running backs and go grab Antonio Gibson as well? Or do I want to get Quentin Johnson or Sam Laporta? I think I can still wait on these tight ends. Now I'm going to go ahead and take Pat Freiermuth right here if he's available. Get that Pittsburgh Steelers tight end if he's there. So I'm one pick away. Zay Flowers and Dallas Goedert just went. Man, the community really likes Zay Flowers. And I hope it works out. It's just I haven't really seen Baltimore Ravens running backs wide receivers work out. So I'm kind of hesitant, but I do think in this new offense, it could be a good thing. So let me go ahead in round number 7 and grab my first tight end and Pat Freiermuth. I get his name wrong all the time, but you know who I'm talking about, y'all, the Pittsburgh Steelers tight end. All right. So here's where we are right now, headed through this draft. Let me go ahead and grab the draft board right here and pull this up for you guys. Get that view right there going for you as we continue to go through this draft. Am I going to be on the clock soon? Yes, I need to find that other screen right there where I'm at. All right. No, I'm not on the clock. I'm 19 picks away. All right, so good to go. Who was my pick then? All right, so yeah, we are straight. All right, so there we go. Having fun, rocking and rolling through this draft. So far, the team is Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, wide receivers, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Christian Kirk, tight end, Pat Freiermuth so far. Obviously, with this Jacksonville stack, I got to kind of stay away from week 9 buys, right? And I got to get a quarterback that's not going to have a week 9 buy as well. So maybe it's time to start add some quarterbacks to the queue and see what we can get. I'm going to add Tua to the queue because Tua in best ball could be crazy. I'm also going to add Anthony Richardson and might as well throw Dak Prescott in there again as well. At least the interceptions won't hurt my fantasy team either way. It hurts my heart when you're throwing for my Dallas Cowboys. Prescott. Let's look at these wide receivers. Man, this is not really the group of wide receivers I like. When you get down to these random wide, let me put Odell Beckham in the queue. I know I just talked about Baltimore wide receivers, but take a shot with Beckham in this format. Tyler Boyd, Smith-Schuster, just not enough weaponry. And then obviously Zay Jones, another guy. And maybe Alan Lazard. Not the type of person to wait on a guy like Jameson Williams. Let me throw Devin Achane in there too as well. Rashee Rice, Valdez-Scantling. All of those stiffs go together right there. So not really in on those guys. Then to come back up here and maybe find somebody decent. Treylon Burks is interesting. I've taken some more Treylon Burks in drafts recently. So maybe some Treylon Burks action would be befitting for this team right here. Thank everybody for rocking and rolling with me in this live draft, Underdog Fantasy. And definitely want everybody to sign up for that newsletter. All you got to do is give your email. It's in there for free. And I'm only going to send one email. I'm not the type of cat that's going to email you every time I drop an episode. You know what I'm saying? I'll email you Sunday morning and give you a rundown of the things you need to get ready for the upcoming week. All right, let's look at the queue. Sam Laporta, Dalton Schultz, Jack Charbonnet, Jalen Warren, Sam Pirine, Tank Bigsby, Tua, Prescott, Alan Lazard, Devin Achane, Treylon Burks. I may go with some Burks as my pick here. I think I'm going to add Elijah Moore as well. I mean, get to this part of the draft. It's really slim pickings for that wide receiver bunch. Don't like it at all. But somebody down in this group is going to hit, trust me. Hopefully it's the guy I get on my team. When I say hit, I mean we'll have some fantasy value at some point. Let me throw Jalen Hyatt on this list as well, even though it's probably too early to start going for him. And I'll throw DJ Chalk on there as well. But I really think there's another guy that's going to be a top target of Bryce Young, and hopefully I can get him a little bit later on in the draft. I'm talking like the people in the draft listening. I'm talking about Hayden Hurst as a tight end I like late. So if I can get a shot at Hurst, that wouldn't be bad right there. Underdog Fantasy, Best Ball Mania draft, rocking and rolling. Fantasy Executive coming at you in draft weekend. All right, it's time for me to get on the clock. And just saw Zay Flowers go, Chalk, Hyatt. I'm not going to be able to get the main guy I wanted as he already went off the board. So I'll probably right here would stick with my guns and I'll go with another running back. I'll take Jalen Warren right here, Pittsburgh Steelers running back. And then coming back, I'll make a decision on what wide receiver I want. I do not like the wide receiver grouping I'm looking at right now. I was hoping one of those other guys would fall to me And I guess the room made sure that that was not the case. As Treylon Burks goes, before I go, Elijah Moore goes, Odell Beckham goes. So they kind of cleaned me out right there too. And now I'm back on the clock again. I just saw Dak Prescott go. So now let me take a look at these quarterbacks and see, starting to get to that back of that quarterback. Let me go ahead and grab another quarterback right now. I'm going to go get my man Geno Smith. Y'all know I love Geno Smith going into the year this year. So I'll get Geno Smith to be my QB2. So I wasn't able to add that fourth wide receiver, but we did get Jaylen Warren to give some depth to that running back room. But I got to start getting after these wide receivers and tight ends. So there you go right there. That was my son texting me. So, man, Jimmy he just texted me 12. So he's a big fan of Travis Hunter, the two-way player from the University of Colorado. So that game is on right now, but I'm sitting up here getting this piece of content out so I can enjoy some of these games a little bit later on tonight. You know what I'm saying? For me, I got to run this business. So work is first. So he can sit up there and watch the game. But I got to motherfucking make sure that we have some money going forward. And that's why I need you to click that link in that description box or in that comment section and hop in here and be a first-time depositor over at Underdog Fantasy. It'd be a good way to support your boy pumping out this content. Let me throw Aaron Rodgers in my queue in case I want to grab that third quarterback a little bit later. Let me throw Jordan Love in the queue as well, and Kenny Pickett. If I do go with the third quarterback, it'd be one of those guys right there. Come back and look at this running back room. I really don't need nobody else at this running back room, but there is a couple of guys I do have starred. So get these quarterbacks out of here. Let's look at these wide receivers. I would now, at this point, I would look at Smith-Schuster. I'm not ever going to look at Mims. At this point, I would look at Lazard. At this point, I would look at Mooney, even though he's playing on the Bears with old boy Justin Fields, who's supposed to be this breakout guy. Not a real big. I still got Jalen Hyatt late. That's something I'll look at. Alec Pierce as well as a guy that my man Lord Don't Lose, Lawrence Jackson likes. So I'll throw him on the list as well. Curtis Samuel is always worth a flyer. He's a veteran wide receiver. Probably end up hurt. Oh, there goes Deion Jackson hiding down here and Deuce Vaughn. Let me throw both those dudes in the queue as well. 11 picks till I come back around. Sam Laporta, Dalton Schultz, Sam Piron, Alan Lazard, Devin Achane, Jalen Hyatt, DJ Chalk, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, Smith-Schuster, Darnell Mooney, Alec Pierce, Curtis Samuel, guys that are in the queue right now as we go through this Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Draft. 10 picks until I am back on the clock. And probably after this next turn, I'll go ahead and shut the stream down. But I wanted to give you guys an idea and a clue and get you some content coming up on as we come out in the draft season. So let me go through my queue again. Sam Laporta, Dalton Schultz, Sam Piron, Alan Lazard, Devin Achane, Jalen Hyatt, DJ Chalk, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett as like that quarterback 2 or 3 range, Smith-Schuster, Mooney, Pierce, Samuel. So I'm just letting you get an idea of some guys I like late, you know what I'm saying? Just in case you get into this spot in your upcoming drafts this weekend and you want to know some of the guys I would take when I get down to this range. I'm kind of fading those random Kansas City wide receivers for some guys that I think will have some more shot and some more upside. So 3 picks away. I probably need to go wide receiver here. If I get the opportunity, it's going to be Alan Lazard for sure because I want to get into that jet situation. And then I might go ahead and take Deion Jackson right here because, I mean, he is going to have a role early on for the Colts, and it could be a guy. Then again, my running back room is pretty solid. Yeah, I think the running back room is pretty solid. I need to attack some of these wide receivers right here. So Lazard will definitely be one of the picks right here. And then, like I said, I'm avoiding guys like Rashee Rice and Valdez-Scantling and Jefferson and Thielen. Maybe Mingo, but Jalen Hyatt will probably be the pick back there as I come up on the turn. All right, I'm on the clock right now, and I am going to take Alan Lazard, wide receiver for the New York Jets. And then I'll come back, and my second pick is going to be, I'm going to go New York on this turn. I'm going to go Jalen Hyatt as that next wide receiver, and that'll be the pick that I leave you guys with before I hop up off the stream. But definitely wanted to get you guys to get a look at the platform right here. And don't forget, go ahead and hop in one of these best ball mania drafts. Or if you don't want to hop in there, they got drafts as cheap as $3 where you can win a couple bucks. And then obviously during the regular season, we'll be playing pick 'em over here, higher or lower and stuff like that, and having a whole bunch of fantasy fun this upcoming season. So Jalen Hyatt is the pick. Let me run through the team right quick, let you guys know what I'm looking like right now. Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith in the quarterback room, running back room, ETN, Aaron Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren. I need to get some more depth there. Wide receiver group, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Christian Kirk, Allen Lazard, Jalen Hyatt, and one tight end so far, and Pat Freiermuth, tight end extraordinaire from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to thank everybody for hopping in here and checking me out. Good luck in your drafts this weekend. Support the Fantasy Exec. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button, hit that newsletter. And if you're not familiar with Underdog Fantasy yet, hit the link in the comment section and get down with Underdog Fantasy. Fantasy Exec, enjoy your weekend. We are out.